Hey y'all, Diligent Homemakers, I'm glad you're here. Welcome home. Many of us are using from our own chickens. We're using farm fresh eggs these days. Many of us more are purchasing farm fresh eggs from local farmers, and I think that's great. Now, in many places, in order to sell farm fresh eggs, the eggs need to be washed and cooled or kept in the refrigerator. So that's fine, I get that. You would use those eggs just the way you would the ones that come from the store. But some of us, especially maybe if you're new to having chickens, or if you get some from your neighbor or from your relative and they are not washed, you're thinking, oh my, can I use these? And if they say, oh yeah, leave them sitting on the counter, you're thinking, oh no, I can't do that. So today we're going to answer some questions. Can I leave eggs sitting on the counter? And for how long? And how do I wash them? And how do I store them? And what do I do with them? We're going to answer those questions and a few more today here on Heritage Ways. I'm glad you're here. Let's start with how to store the farm fresh eggs. So as you see here, these have come straight from the coop. They have not been cleaned yet. But eggs will last longer, any eggs, store-bought or farm fresh, if they are put in the carton with the narrow side pointing downward. So that's what you see here. You see the narrow side downward. And they seem to last longer if you do that. All right, now we're going to wash the eggs. But we only wash them when we're ready to use them. Other than that, we keep them right out on the kitchen counter, actually in a bread box is where we keep them, just to have them out of the way. But many people keep them in egg holders that I think are just so cute and adorable, and I'd love to have one. But we keep them right here in the bread box in cartons. But we keep them out on the counter like that, and we keep them, they stay good for, wow, about a month or so. Even I don't worry about they're 2 weeks old, and you know, I do try to use them up in the order that they came in. But and another tip that you may not know, but if you're boiling eggs that came from the store, actually fresh eggs do not boil, or peel rather, fresh eggs do not peel as well as older eggs do. On that note, we have found that in the Instant Pot, whether we're boiling fresh or older eggs, they still peel well in the Instant Pot. So that's just a tip on boiling eggs from the store. If they are a little bit older, they will peel better. But we leave the eggs sitting out on the counter until we're ready to use them. Then we wash them when we're ready to use them. And honestly, we just use just a dishcloth, washcloth, and we'll just wash them with the washcloth in the sink. Or we will use one of our daughter Missy's SCRUBBIES that she makes, which are excellent for cleaning cast iron, but also they're excellent for scrubbing the eggs. And then we just pop this on the top shelf of the dishwasher as soon as we're finished. And this would go, if we use this, it'd go straight to the laundry. And then we would just wipe the sink out with some cleaner and go on from there. So they do not have to be refrigerated if they have not been cleaned. So there's something on an egg as soon as it's laid called the bloom. And if the bloom is washed off, the eggs must be refrigerated. It's a natural protectant. And the Lord is miraculous in his creation. And he created eggs to not have to be refrigerated. In fact, sometimes when we're getting eggs from the coop, they might have been in there 2 or 3 days or more, and they're still good. So if the bloom is left intact, meaning the eggs have not been washed, that is why you can leave eggs on the counter. Now, if you get eggs from a farmer and you're not sure, then I would refrigerate them. Especially if they look clean and you're not sure if they've been washed. So this is all we do. So we just have running water here, and I'm just gonna use Missy's abrasive here. I do have a link for her very popular SCRUBBIES, and I'll put that down in the description box. And also in the description box, I do try to share resources that I think would help you, or information, or other videos that are related to this one. If there are any eggs that I see that are cracked, I'm going to dispose of them. I know I have friends who use them, so just use your discretion and your wisdom and whatever you think, whatever makes you comfortable on that. But especially if they've been sitting in the carton for a while and they're cracked, I definitely don't want to use them. If they come from the coop and they just have a very small crack and the underlying layer there is not broken all the way through, then I might use them. If they're extra dirty, I will sometimes set them in a bowl of warm water to kind of loosen the poop and the dirt. My mama, my grandmama taught me to always crack a farm fresh egg on a plate before putting it in your mixing bowl or wherever you're going to use it. And I know this to be true on more than one occasion because I grew up having chickens, and then we've had chickens throughout our marriage and our 2 or 3 homesteads that we've had. And you never know where you might get maybe a fertilized egg, which can be scary to a child if he cracks that open and there's the beginning of a baby chick. But also, if you don't have a rooster, you might not have a fertilized egg, but you might have a bad egg. And that has happened once to us here at our current home. And if you have that egg that's bad and you're putting it in here and you've already got 11 eggs in your bowl and you're adding that bad egg, it really needs to be thrown away, all of them. So do I always practice what I preach in this? No, I don't. But I do want to point that out to you, especially if you do have roosters or you just want to be cautious. The next tip would be not to crack on the edge of a bowl. Now, I know you're going to see a lot of famous chefs doing this on TV. And hey, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But this is just a tip for you because you have a greater likelihood of getting pieces of shell into your egg if you crack on the edge of a bowl, especially if it's a thin bowl. So if you have a bowl that has a rim that's really thin, like this one might be, if this were a bowl, then that more or less cuts into the egg and causes the little bits and pieces. This rim is a little wider, so you might not have that problem. But you do see you've got all kinds of small bits and pieces. Some of them came off in my hand doing it that way. Whereas if you crack it on a countertop, you don't have as many bits and pieces. I don't know if you can see that very well on video. I'd like to share with you how to separate an egg. So you can do so without any special equipment, but maybe you have the little thing, I think from Tupperware years ago, maybe even Pampered Chef, or I don't know, any of those places has an egg separator. Maybe you want to purchase one of those to make it easy. But I'm going to show you 2 ways that you don't have to purchase anything special. So I'm going to crack my egg and, just stuck my finger in that one. Okay. All right, that's fine. So I'm going to put the egg, careful that I didn't break the yolk, and then I'm going to put it in my hands like this and let the white just fall through. Now, if you think that is disgusting and you don't want to do that, that's fine. I'm going to give you another option here in a minute. There you go. There's your yolk and there's your white. Separated. Okay, another option is to do it with the shell itself. So I'm going to crack the egg and I'm going to gently open it like a package. And I'm going to just move that yolk back and forth, letting that white fall through. Be careful not to crack it on the edge of the shell. But it does work fine. I've never owned an egg separator. There you go. That's it. Takes a second, but so does an egg separator, I guess. I'm trying to cut that piece off. There you go. That's it. And there's your egg yolk. You can see there's no white. Separated eggs without a special piece of equipment in your drawer. Another tip. If you get an eggshell in your egg like this, do you know you can use this eggshell as a magnet if you have a little piece you want to get out? And it just is drawn right to it, and there you go. I didn't have to dig it out. I didn't have to get a utensil or anything like that. I just put my eggshell in there to get that piece out. Okay, I do want to remind you to wash your hands after using any kind of raw protein, whether it's eggs or meat, uncooked protein. Make sure you wash your hands. All right, there are many uses for eggshells as well, but that is it for today, talking about eggs. I hope this helps you. Drop a comment down below to let me know if you heard something today that you didn't know before, and you can go forward and do a better job in your diligent homemaking, because I know you're doing a great job. I know you're counting your blessings. You are loved. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.